Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Matt and John Make Podcast. This is episode 27, and we have a lot to talk about.
Yes, we do, Matt.
We have our reactions and thoughts on the Super Bowl and the halftime show. Donald Trump in impeachment, he got acquitted on both charges.
Shocking.
Yeah,
Absolutely stunning.
I'm shocked. I was floored.
Lord.
Preview of UFC 247. WWE, and then we get back into wrestling. Shocker. WWE quarterly reports, and as always, AEW and NXT, and the ever popular funny story of the week.
Hopefully, I don't
Spoiler the ending. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
spoil
Thank
the
you.
ending this
Thank
week.
you. Thank you.
Sorry, buddy.
Jerk. Anywho, let's get back to what we first mentioned, and it was the Super Bowl 54 this past Sunday, with the Chiefs once again making a comeback, a 10-point comeback to beat.
It was only fitting, right?
It was only fitting.
It was only fitting
to beat the San Francisco 49ers 31-20 for the Chiefs to claim their second Super Bowl title, in 50 years.
Yeah, I mean, for all intents and purposes, this was a very fun game, a very good game.
It got better at the end.
It got better. Like, it was slower paced, but it wasn't like you felt like that you were like just like bored or anything like it was for Super Bowl 53 with the Patriots.
Oh my God!
And the Rams last year. It's just a lot of long possessions. San Francisco ran it really well, I felt. And it just came down to basically, I felt that with Jimmy G, he just did not play well in the fourth quarter. Just could not sustain drives, cannot make big time throws. I'm not putting this blame on Kyle Shanahan, because to me that's just a very lazy excuse. It came down to this: one quarterback made every throw, and the other quarterback didn't.
Yeah,
didn't make every throw.
Yeah, this is San Francisco's offense just like
It
laid
stalled.
an egg in the second half.
It stalled because they were up 20-10 with, I believe, 10 minutes left in the game. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, something. I mean,
like, they were in position to win that. They could not sustain drives, and their defense they couldn't get off the field on third down. And like when you can't sustain drives against Patrick Mahomes, he's going to kill you. And like, of course, like, people were in a freaking outrage when he was named Super Bowl MVP. I hate to like break it to you guys, but Damian Williams alone wasn't winning them that game. Like, it was him. It was like in key situations, Patrick Mahomes made the big time throws and big time plays to put them in a position to break away from the game. It's like, and like, I get that everyone is fascinated with the quarterback and they wanted to give someone else a shine, but if we're being really serious here, like when you recall this game, are you going to say without hesitation that it was Damian Williams who stood out the most, or like who made the absolute key plays? And yes, he had that huge touchdown run, but Pat Mahomes just made key play after key play after key play. Not taking anything away from Damian Williams, but I just felt like that there was just a lot of fake outrage over that. Matt, what did you think about that?
I mean, if the Chiefs were going to win, I was assuming already that that Mahomes was going to win an MVP. Just it is what it is. So I'm not like going nuts.
Mm-hmm. No, I wouldn't either. And as far as everything else that wasn't pertain to the Super Bowl, I mean, I verily enjoyed seeing J-Lo and Shakira at the halftime show. Shakira created memes for the next 6 months or whatever. But and of course, Matt, there was people being outraged because they were showing too much skin
or
right.
shots that were close to.
Yeah. Like this is a thing apparently because but hey, there wasn't a super amount of outrage when what's his face last year took off his shirt, and we didn't hear too much about that. It's just like it like you kind of knew that something like this was going to come out, but I mean, I didn't have a problem with it. I mean, like, can we find something else to actually complain about that's not this is silly? What do you think, Matt?
Everybody's gonna complain when there is a lot of skin shown on TV.
Oh, absolutely.
And gyrating asses.
Yep, that's for certain. I
mean,
yeah.
As a guy, I enjoyed it.
Well, yeah.
Not gonna lie,
Yeah.
but I mean, it was something. It was entertaining in different ways.
Right.
I mean, it is what it is. It's just a halftime. I mean, yeah, the halftime show can be good or bad, but
it's hit or miss.
I move on.
Yeah.
From it. Like, I don't dwell on it. I don't get upset unless somebody did something really drastic, like unplanned and
Justin Timberlake and Janet Jackson.
But that was just funny. That wasn't bad. Okay, that was. I could see the outrage there because that's it is what it is.
Yeah.
How dare you show a boob? And because society now you can't show. Obviously can't show stuff like that. Yeah. So that's one thing. But like if somebody, I don't know, just easy example. Just like went off script and did something like overly political, like we don't care. Like that's when people can be outraged because like that's not a time in place for stuff like that. Go out, perform. If it's good, yay. If it's bad, nah, you're not going to appease everybody for these halftime shows.
No,
you're always going to get somebody a group of people, obviously, who didn't like the gyrations and everything, and another group of people who do.
Just log onto social media and you'll find those people.
Yes, go on Twitter timeline during the show, and there they were. But it is what it people getting mad. Almost a downside of social media. You can see more people getting mad.
I know, which is why...
more opinions, and it's just like, I hate people.
Yeah, which is why I just didn't go on social media during the game.
I did.
Yes.
Because it's funny. At times. It was hypocritical, but
what'd you think about the Super Bowl ads? Were they better this year? Were they worse? You were paying attention more to those than me, so
I was trying to hear, but there was always commotion because we were at a Super Bowl party.
Yes.
I can't remember last year's, so it's hard to compare. But there were some good ones. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. The Doritos one, the Wild West. I got to listen to it again, but it seemed everybody liked that. The Cheetos one with so the MC Hammer and Can't Touch This.
Yeah.
With the fingers.
Yep. That was good.
That was entertaining. Oh crap. The one. Oh my God. What brand? Oh, the Reese's Take 5. where they just went through like these cliches, like nobody heard what Reese's Take 5 is. Like, oh, you living on a rock?
Mm-hmm.
The guy's living on the rock. The best one was at the very end when somebody's walking around with their head up their ass, which was I laughed out loud for that one. There were good entertaining ones. I know I'm missing some. That Snickers commercial, that's to feed the Earth one, that big giant Snickers to fix it. That was fun. Crap. I can't. I can't think of any. I would have to look them up. But there's some good ones. What was life like before Alexa? And they were going through the different time periods. That was the one with Ellen DeGeneres. I enjoyed that one. That's funny. There are some good ones.
And one specifically that is going to segue us into our next topic.
Segues.
Where the Disney Plus Marvel shows. So we got
This was a definition of a tease.
Yeah. So yeah, and we got some more information. I think it was on either Tuesday or Wednesday this week. When Disney had their quarterly meetings. Now nothing is official, but supposedly these are what the rumored release dates are for both Falcon and Winter Soldier, WandaVision, and season 2 of The Mandalorian. So for the Falcon and Winter Soldier, supposedly that is supposed to drop in August. WandaVision is supposed to drop in December, and the second season of The Mandalorian is supposed to drop in October. Now, I mean, like, with that small tease, Matt, I think it was just kind of there just to show you, oh, hey, these are the same exact people.
Yeah, I agree.
Creating these shows, and just doing some more research and reading up on some of these things. Apparently, with the WandaVision, that is like leading right into Doctor Strange 2, and it's basically a like backstory of like Wanda, and like they were like showing her from different different time periods from the 60s through the 80s, 90s, and
more
so
like
on.
a sitcom. It had more of a like those sitcom look.
Yeah,
I'm interested to see how this comes off like that. So I'm interested. I have expectations that it's going to be it's different and unique and good.
I'm very interested to see how she's going to be with her kids, with her and like Vision's kids, because especially if you read her whole story in the comics, like it's a very interesting story of like of her kids dying and her just going completely insane. So I wonder if they will eventually go down that road, but it definitely has me intrigued. And supposedly with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, supposedly this takes place right after Endgame, where they see Cap there. So I'm very interested to see what exactly that Falcon and Winter Soldier are going to, how are they going to actually work together? Like, you know, what type of villains are they going to be going up against? It's all very, very intriguing stuff. And they also showed a tease of like Loki, but I believe that's probably is not coming
Probably 2021
until 2021 per the last rumor. So
yeah, that was just like 5 seconds of him talking.
So I mean, like, and by then I think I want to say by 2021 we're gonna be getting like some of Thor stuff, but that could be 2022, but I forget. But nonetheless, Matt, it's getting me really excited, and definitely seeing season 2 of The Mandalorian, especially for how successful that it was in season 1. I wonder if they're still are going to stick with an 8 episode season, or maybe they might make those longer. But supposedly too, they spend so much money per episode that like they might just keep it as it is.
8. I think.
I mean, I would be perfectly fine if it was just keep it.
I've read somewhere that it could be like 6 seasons. I don't know where I read it from. Like 6 seasons of Mandalorian. I mean, like anything, it depends how well you tell the story and how long the story is to get from point A to point B, the start to the finish.
Right.
And we were talking about. You mentioned like Game of Thrones, how the ending was rushed. It seemed like it wasn't enough time. Like it could. I think you said it can go another season or 2.
Like realistically, I felt like with Game of Thrones that should have gone at least 2 more seasons, just because when you just completely just rush everything like that, it comes off. It doesn't come off anywhere near as good. I mean, especially if you saw seasons 1 through 4, which were incredible. It's just you really don't want to do the show a disservice, which I have really. I mean, just based off of season 1. Like I have the utmost confidence that they'll make this work. I mean, like I mean, this show became like insanely popular, and from the last I checked, I think Disney has like 26 million subscribers for Disney Plus, according to what Bob Iger said. So speaking of that, they also announced that for the ESPN Plus, they have over 7 million subscribers. And,
I thought it was 8
or something like that.
Yeah, well, whatever.
But supposedly they gained 1 million more subscribers just for the Conor or the Conor fight last month.
I believe it.
Like does
not surprise me.
That is insane. And supposedly Iger really put over just how vital that that MMA on the app has been for the growth of ESPN Plus. Like you can just tell, like they're definitely getting their money's worth as far as what that's concerned.
And we'll probably talk about that in a little bit concerning WWE.
That's gonna be a big talk. But before we do, I'm sorry, Matt. Any more?
Yeah,
to add here?
It's going to be in with all these fall lineups, like regular TV with your shows season starting.
Right.
It's just going to be just a lot of crap to watch, depending whatever you watch, if it's on networks or streaming services like Disney Plus.
And our podcasts are going to be getting longer at this rate.
Or when we go back to hopefully live streaming AEW and NXT, that cuts out a whole chunk of it,
Yeah, and that would definitely help. So we're going to move on, Matt. We had a very big thing happen in the political landscape this week. I'll kind of let you talk about that.
So the Senate voted to not basically acquitted Donald Trump on both counts of impeachment. So he is remaining in office. He's not getting charged with anything. So nothing's going to happen, obviously. To the surprise of no one, with a Republican-controlled Senate, you would need 67 votes, 2/3 majority to vote him out. I can't believe I forgot math there for a second. So you would need like 14 or so, basically a double digit almost, Republicans to flip, and with any party Democrat or Republican.
Wasn't it like basically? Wasn't it basically every single Republican?
Mitt Romney voted. The vote was the vote for, I think, more witnesses.
Mm-hmm.
If it didn't vote, then you're pretty much done. Or was it vote for more witnesses? Yeah, Romney, I think, voted yes.
Mm-hmm.
For the vote on one of the charges, but not the other.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but that's one person that flipped on one charge.
Right.
So, again, Republican-controlled Senate. Like I was saying, both sides, both parties, are loyal to the party before anything else. I always laugh at both sides complaining about the other side on Twitter or what have you. If this was reversed,
mm-hmm.
it would probably have been the same thing. If it was a Democratic president in the same exact situation, then I probably guarantee, I would bet a lot of money that no Democrat would flip. Or, okay, not flip, vote them out. They would have enough to flip and be like, you know what? We're going to take out the president of our party and blah, 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 blah. Yeah. They would do the exact same thing. Yeah. Don't let anybody tell you differently.
I feel like that like just based off of this and just off of how little that I know, it would just take so much to take out or it would be so much to impeach a president just based off of the freaking structure and the process, that it just seems like it's essentially impossible unless you do something just so horrible that basically that it's not going to leave either party any choice but to convict you.
Until that day happens, I don't believe it.
Yeah.
The only other reason, which to me is the more logical reason why they did this, they being the Democrats, is to dig stuff up on him for the upcoming elections.
I'm sure
this year, which
at the timing too was just like, okay, it's like right before the
elections. The shocker.
Election. So,
and another reason that you can't beat them. You can't beat them on your own. You need an impeachment.
Yep.
You can't just say everything. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, yeah, you lost them the first time, but you should be confident. If you're a Democrat, you should be confident. Okay, look what he's done as president and all the things he said. Mm-hmm. If you're playing the role of a Democrat, I think we can just use that against him in an impeachment. Mm-hmm. It's going to be interesting to see if this backfires or not, because 4 years ago, which I can't believe it's been that already. Mm-hmm. Honest to God, I feel like he's just been elected. Everybody thought Hillary was going to win.
I know.
I thought it was. I was like, "There's no way."
Yep. I mean, everyone thought that unless you were like the most diehard Trump supporters, but no one really thought that he was going to win. And honestly, now, Matt, and I don't pay attention to this stuff too much, but just based off of the Democratic Party, I don't see a viable candidate that's going to currently beat him right now. Am I wrong for thinking that, or
I don't know? No, you're not wrong.
No?
And that's what everybody's saying.
Yep.
Even talking with coworkers, during lunch in school, mm-hmm. They say he's probably gonna win. All the candidates, and this was coming from somebody who is a registered Democrat, saying that all the candidates suck.
Yep. That's kind of been my whole understanding too. It's just do we really believe that either Biden or Bernie Sanders is going to really
and
realistically win here?
I'd laugh at and this happens on both sides. Everybody complains that it's the same old people running, old white guys, and we want new young blood. Maybe with the exception of Barack, who was, obviously fairly young and a young senator, relatively. You have the presumably top two candidates, maybe after Iowa caucus, which was a disaster. I'll briefly touch to that. You have Biden and Bernie Sanders. Yep. And you want something young and fresh. No, I don't. Not saying they can or cannot beat Trump or good politicians, even though I disagree with their policies. But like, you everybody wants something new, and yet you bring in the same old. They wanted to bring in a woman to get the first woman president, Clinton. It was a terrible choice, the first of a candidate.
And to Matt, how badly
she didn't go to Wisconsin. She lost Wisconsin, which people thought was a lock for a Democrat, and Trump won that state and got the votes, and that was and I think Michigan too, if I'm not mistaken. That tossed it into pretty much sealed the deal for Trump. And Trump even won Pennsylvania. And
I recall listening to Joe Rogan when he said this. He asked a simple question: how bad of a candidate must have Hillary have been for Donald Trump for everything, all of the scandals and the stories that came out about him, and he still won. Like, how bad of a candidate was she? I think that was a
she probably won the cities. She didn't win the rural America because I feel like he's like a demented genius. He's, even though all politicians say stuff to get elected.
Oh yeah,
but he said the stuff about bringing steel back and industries in the everyday middle class America who lives in the heartland of America, in the middle of the country, right? There's blue collar, white collar, blue collar, whatever the color of the collar is.
Blue collar. Yeah.
Blue collar. Yeah. That message resonated with that population. And you could debate all day. Yep. We had this debate again at lunch. Is the electoral college still needed? And it's only not needed apparently when Democrats lose the popular vote.
Yep, essentially.
And I lost my train. I forgot what we were talking about. And then we get to Iowa. I'm going to get on to this because I mentioned it before. Yeah. And they went to, I believe they did online voting. It's like an app, I think. And it was a disaster. They delayed the votes and for a day or two until we knew who actually won. And I laughed because they were all upset because of the last election with with Russia interfering and all that stuff on online and hacking systems and stuff. So you have an Iowa caucus, which I don't know why they still do that, and they go online and it doesn't work. And I just about laugh my butt off. You complain about technology getting hacked, and you use technology and it doesn't work. Yeah. I wish we can go back to just somehow the archaic paper and pencil. Somehow a good way. Just mark, check. I'm voting for this person. You can't hack paper.
Yep. Yeah, sometimes the older ways are the
And
better
then
ways.
maybe they'll be delayed, but you have somebody count. You have a human that counted, or I don't know if this would work. Give somebody a Scantron sheet and a number 2 pencil, circle in your answer, and put it in a machine that is not connected to the internet. The scan, but you get in the whole thing of, oh, does it read everything? Blah 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 blah. But you can't hack it. I don't think you can hack it. Nobody over in China or over in Russia or sitting in front of a computer screen and see that. You can't. And I don't know. It's just we could put a man on the moon, but we can't do an election right.
Yep, it is what it is. But all right, so we're gonna move on now. We had a huge blockbuster trade this week, Matt. Which I mean, like, it kind of shocked me, even though we saw this coming for the last few days, because if you guys have been following guys like Ken Rosenthal and Jeff Hassan of ESPN, they have been reporting this deal, but the LA Dodgers, they have acquired Mookie Betts and David Price from the Boston Red Sox, and it was essentially a 4-team trade, a 3-team trade, which then it was the Dodgers sent over Maeda to the Twins, and the Twins, I believe, sent their top pitching prospect to the Boston Red Sox, and to help facilitate this trade even more, the Dodgers traded Jock Peterson to the LA Angels, which none of this is even official yet, and like we saw, it was the president of the Players Association come out and basically criticize every single team for essentially stalling with this deal right now, but we're all assuming that this is eventually going to get finalized. But Matt, just my first reaction when I heard about this deal is the LA Dodgers, they had better be in the World Series and definitely win the World Series, because they have no excuses.
I'll believe it when I see it.
It just the skill level, like, they are essentially getting a freaking MVP candidate in Mookie Betts. Hell, you can make the argument he's like one of the top 3 players in baseball right now, besides Trout. So, like, and I mean, and for the Red Sox, point of view, I mean, I get that they wanted to get under with the luxury tax, but man, and that their farm system was not as deep, and they probably wanted to get that and get some more assets, but man, this definitely felt like a Pirates kind of a trade, where they trade a clearly proven guy and got maybe 1 or 2 really good players in return. But wow, it's been a crazy offseason, to say the least, and this was probably the biggest trade of them all, because man, the Dodgers acquired an all-star outfielder and probably a number 2, or at the very worst a number 3 pitcher in your rotation in David Price, although I believe he still has 3 years and $96 million left on his contract. So I'm sure that with Boston shedding the $27 million that they owed to Mookie Betts this season, and the $96 million that they still owed to David Price, they're definitely got some what's the word, Matt? Flexibility.
Yes.
So
financial flexibility.
Financial flexibility. So Yeah. For the Dodgers and and the fans are probably hoping, man, you guys had better win this World Series. Like, there is no one in the NL, just strictly from a talent perspective, who's anywhere near what the LA Dodgers are right now. With that lineup, there's no reason why they can't average 6 runs a game. Just that lineup, man, it's frightening. And I don't know what else I could possibly say about that. Matt, what were your what were your initial thoughts about this trade?
When I first read it, I was like, "Oh, the Dodgers made a big move, and we'll see if they win anything in the playoffs." That's mine. Like, it felt like every year, the Dodgers make a move, they spend money or make a trade or spend money for a free agent, right. And we're like, "Holy crap! Look at the Dodgers!" And maybe the exception of a year or two, they made the World Series.
Mm-hmm.
They don't win.
Yep, against them, Houston and the Red Sox, and we saw how
But look at
which are both, by the way, extremely tainted World Series because of obvious reasons, but still they lost. So that's going to be the really big question. Going into the season, can they finally get that proverbial monkey off of their back there? And
yeah,
we'll find out.
Just think of having a big payroll and spending money is no guarantee.
No,
you win a championship. Or the Dodgers, the Red Sox,
mm-hmm.
the Yankees. I don't know who I'm missing. Maybe Cubs.
Chicago. Yeah,
they would. They would only
Houston.
Throw
them in there. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I was banging on a trash can. They would be in the playoffs every year,
right?
And nobody would be.
Yep.
The Kansas City Royals wouldn't be in the playoffs.
San Francisco Giants.
The Giants wouldn't be in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
The Milwaukee Brewers.
Tampa Bay Rays.
The Tampa Bay Rays.
Pittsburgh Pirates.
Toronto Blue Jays.
Toronto Blue Jays.
For the Pirates for 3 years. Wouldn't be in the playoffs.
Like Milwaukee.
I said Milwaukee.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if you said that.
St. Louis.
Although
they're kind of the Cubs are kind
in the middle there.
The Cubs are up there too, but we get the top markets.
Yeah.
And to be fair, on the other side, baseball, every game is basically a crapshoot.
Yep. Especially in a 162 game regular season.
you can get somebody. There could be injuries. A pitcher can have an off day. And even like the worst lineup can hit them,
mm-hmm.
Vice versa or whatever. So it's a crapshoot. I mean, obviously you have a competitive edge. I just feel like, I don't know, it's overall in baseball that the balance of teams and spending is just off. I mean, it was almost like the old NHL. Well, teams just made a profit and spend what they had.
Mm-hmm.
That's what caused just a home example of the Penguins. That's what, when they were filing for bankruptcy and all that and money troubles, and then they had to trade away Yager, all the good players, and then in the mid to late 90s, they were just not good, and attendance was terrible, and all that stuff. And until they got a salary cap where every team was in it, there's more parity in the league.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. So we'll see how that turns out. Now we're gonna move on to some UFC talk. So tomorrow, or more specifically tonight is UFC 247, John Jones versus Anthony Reyes for the light heavyweight title. I will say this fight, while I do feel that with John Jones he will still win, I do feel like that this is going to be a little bit more competitive. I still think that like John Jones is still one of the greatest fighters of all time and all, but I think we're definitely starting to see him become more and more human as of late. Just just based off of his last few fights. I mean, he was clearly the better fighter in those fights, but you could tell it's just like, the competition is getting tougher, and I don't think that this is necessarily an easy fight for John. Anthony Reyes, he can't be John. Do I think that he will? No. So I'm still sticking with him, John Jones. And I do feel like that if he wins convincingly, I gotta think that with John, he's gonna be moving up to heavyweight, because I believe after this fight, there's really no other contenders that I can think of that John hasn't already beaten at this point. So I'm hoping that's kind of where he goes. As far as the rest of this card, I mean, if I'm being perfectly honest, it's a whatever card. Valentina Shevchenko, I'm expecting her to just basically walk through Catlin Chukalkin. I probably butchered that, but
I just saw the name. Holy crap!
Yeah, it's just like basically UFC women's flyweight. It's a very bare division right now.
You want to know the odds of Valentina?
Yeah, I saw it. She is a like minus 1200.
1250.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Like she just Matt. That like I like it's basically what this division is now is what the UFC bantamweight women's division was when Ronda was just running roughshod all over everybody. Like there's not a lot of competition, so until someone legit comes up and really challenges Valentina, she's going to mow right through all of these challengers. So I don't see that changing here. Would not be surprised too if this ends via a like first round knockout. So that's very possible. And the other fight I'm looking at too is between Derek Lewis and Ilir Latifi. This is, I believe, Latifi's first fight at heavyweight. Interested to see how he's going to do. He is giving up a good 20 pounds versus Derek Lewis, but I feel like if he gets Lewis down, it's going to be very hard for Derek Lewis to win this. He's not the greatest wrestler, but if Derek can keep this fight on the feet, he has a very, very good chance in beating Latifi. So that was a small preview for tonight's UFC 247 pay-per-view. All right, so now we're going to be getting into some wrestling talk now, Matt. We had some big debuts this week on like Monday Night Raw. So both Angel Garza made his Raw debut. He
now we know why he lost the Cruiserweight Championship.
Yeah, so that kind of figured some things out. So like he came out when Zelina Vega confronted Humberto Carrillo, who is actually the cousin of Angel Garza. And I continue to say, if you're going to build a division around a certain demographic, and in this case with
Latin,
Latin, Mexican, whatever. Angel Garza is your guy because unlike Humberto, unlike Andrade, he can speak in English, and my God, does this man have charisma? Like, he just, like, I can't remember outside of like Ray, the last Latino Mexican wrestler who had this much charisma had to have been Eddie. Like, just when he walks out, you just feel this aura around Angel Garza, and he has a
personality.
Has a personality. He can carry a segment on his own. He doesn't really need Zelina, but he's money.
He doesn't need Zelina, but in terms of this story, it makes sense.
It gives him credibility.
He speaks English, but it's not. It's better than Humberto or
Andrade.
It's still sometimes it's hard to understand some things, but I think Zelina is a good mouthpiece for him too, and I like the family aspect because it's true. I mean, there is some form of what if you call it history.
They're cousins, so
they're cousins.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. Jesus, Mary and Joseph, this stand, mic stand. So it's interesting. I was a fan of him from the first time I saw him in NXT, a month or two ago. I'm a big fan of him in the ring. He's good.
Like
he's got that charisma, like I said.
I mean, once I saw him, I knew that he probably wasn't going to be in the cruiserweights for too long, just because of that personality of his. He was going to eventually get off to something better, but so we'll see where that goes. And I'm more interested to see what's going to happen once Andrade comes back. Like, do they split up Andrade and Zelina, which I hope doesn't happen, because I feel that unlike Angel, Andrade really needs Zelina. I don't feel that Angel Garza needs Zelina to make it on his own, just because.
Could they be a tag team?
They could, but it's going to be interesting too, because Andrade, he's still the United States champion, so we'll see.
Eventually, but
yeah, and also what happened on the show, Rhea Ripley confronted Charlotte. Now this has been a big rumor for the last week, and we talked about that on the podcast last week, that supposedly the plan was to do Rhea versus Charlotte. Now
it's even more clear now.
Yeah. Now
after this week,
I will say though, I do have my concerns with this match, because I swear, if this is about putting over Charlotte, I'm going to be very angry. Because Matt, you may disagree with me on this, and that's fine. But I feel like if they just put over Charlotte and have her beat Rhea, this is going to really derail a lot of what they built up with Rhea.
I don't disagree.
It's just like I really do not want them to put Charlotte over Rhea. Like it would be.
Can I?
Yeah.
Go ahead,
and
devil's advocate on the good side. I'm going to think this. So I this is my thought. So that I'm hopefully confident this is true, that they're putting her with Charlotte on this big stage because they're so high on Rhea, and then they put her over and beat over Charlotte, who arguably in the modern era is one of the top women's wrestlers they've had.
I'm really hoping that's the plan.
I almost think that's the case,
because I really do feel that, like, and with Charlotte specifically, she really does suck the life out of everything for me. Like, I mean, like, just even seeing that segment on NXT, and we'll get to that shortly. It's just, man, like, it would really be a disaster if she won this title. And I had one guy come up, respond to a tweet I had about that. He said, well, like, you know, Charlotte is a like bigger draw, and like that would be good for NXT versus AEW, which that proved this week that didn't necessarily to be true, but we will get into that later. But I'm going to keep an open mind with this as we go closer to WrestleMania. So
Hey,
we'll see where this goes.
I'm just happy that they didn't do like Charlotte or Becky and they're doing this.
Thank God. And it was
So I'm more open that they're put Rhea over.
And supposedly they're going to be starting the program with Becky and Shayna relatively soon. Could be as early as like next week. So that is the match that I'm really excited for.
That's out of the three.
That is the one that,
because Carmella won a Fatal 4-Way yesterday on SmackDown to face Bayley, which I'm presuming is the Mania match.
No,
Or is that just the Super Showdown match?
That'll probably that will probably be for the Elimination Chamber, maybe.
So we have another pay-per-view after
Yeah. So after the Saudi show, they
the March one.
Yeah, they would have the Chamber, and then it would be WrestleMania. But you know, with the women's division being as bare as it is, like, it wouldn't surprise me. But I don't think that's probably going to be the plan. Hopefully, Sasha is healthy enough, because that's probably the match that they probably are going to end up doing there. But okay, so Matt, we're gonna get into some WWE quarterly meeting thoughts here, and oh boy, the number one thing coming out of this, Matt, was the WWE Network, and Vince essentially without saying that the WWE Network has been a failure, because now supposedly they are negotiating with other platforms to essentially air their pay-per-views, and in response to that, I ask, so if this is exactly what is going to happen, then why should anyone be subscribed to the network then? Because outside of the takeovers, then you're only keeping that for the library, or for NXT or NXT UK. I mean,
or any original shows.
Yeah, it's just like I do not understand this move, and I wonder if this was one of the reasons why Vince and
Probably.
George Barrios and Michelle Wilson were also butting heads. And supposedly, according to, I believe the Observer said this, that supposedly another reason why they left was because George and Michelle were butting heads for Vince overspending on talent, specifically on specific talent who aren't being featured as much as like guys like Seth and Roman, and basically they're top of the top guys there. So, man, it's just I came out of this, I'm saying too, Matt, and even though they are clearly doing well as far as total money,
making more revenue than ever before.
But like, my question is, for the, say, like 4, 5, and 6 years down the road, is this a profitable company? Which I can't believe that I'm asking this.
Yes. Yes.
Because and I ask that just because if you take out with their TV rights money right there, and just like look at every other metric from attendance, merchandise, ratings, they are all down and I believe they are 10% down from the last quarter from the network subscription. So, like, that is what concerns me. Now, obviously they are perfectly fine now just because they have those TV rights deals with both Fox and with NBC Universal and the Saudi money.
And any other international.
Right. So they're fine there. But, what I worry about is when they have to renegotiate with their TV deals. I mean, like, if they keep on churning what they're churning out now from a ratings perspective, because I feel like they got the extreme big time cash from NBC because of Fox's influence, it drove up the price a lot for that there. So, I'm concerned. I'm definitely concerned.
I think they're fine. They pull in the main shows enough viewership that for the ratings for fans, I think it works.
For now it does. But like I'm talking like 4, 5, 6 years down the road. I wonder.
I think they're
I
fine.
wonder what that landscape is going to be like. And
if
what else
I think they're fine. If AEW can get a contract extension in their not even their first year, with less than 1 million people watching,
right?
And if Raw and SmackDown are pulling around, I'm just average here, 2 million,
right?
I think that's a win. There's live con. I obviously can't predict what's down in the
no,
but I think they're fine. And regarding the network,
that one is probably number one right with me right now.
I think it would have been worse to add tier subscriptions to it than just move the stuff out to a different platform, because depending on, and that's probably another reason why things probably they changed positions with that, because there was rumors they were going to do a tier subscription, and then this news came out.
Yep, and basically you never even heard about the tier subscription again. So I think that's pretty much off the table now.
According to WrestleNomics, there was a graph or chart or figure that this year compared to last year, the WWE spent less money on the network last year to this year. I don't know if it's the same quarter.
Interesting.
I forget. UFC has television rights. They went to ESPN from Fox,
and they paid them a
boatload of money.
And
their pay-per-view rights are through ESPN Plus.
And the problem, like, say they do go to like ESPN or a Fox to basically carry a WrestleMania, like you now are going to ask your fans to pay what, $50 or $60 for a WrestleMania when they've been telling you for the last 6 years, hey, you guys are like idiots if you bought this on pay-per-view and not just subscribing to the network. So man, like it's really disappointing just how badly how they have been unable to get more subscribers, and I feel like that falls strictly on there's just not enough emotional attachment to the current product, and I feel that's where it all starts at,
even if they don't because UFC, you have to subscribe to ESPN Plus,
and
then pay $60.
Yeah, so basically it's basically two paywalls.
Right. Which nobody, I'm going to explain myself here, which nobody really is complaining about.
No.
Because if you use ESPN Plus regularly to watch sports, what have you, and what are you paying on $10? That's just $10. Just,
well,
I don't know what it is.
If you
$10.
And if you have the bundle with that Hulu and Disney, I mean, like, you're
you're winning because everything's going to streaming now.
Yep.
WWE, like they revolutionized pay-per-view business, right? Then they went streaming and kind of almost revolutionized that, even though as of now it's apparent that it's not successful.
Yeah, like they were one of the first entities to really get into that outside of like Netflix, obviously.
Right.
But ever since then, entities such as Amazon Prime, Netflix, and now with Disney, like Disney, as we said earlier, I think they had around 26 million subscribers. I believe Hulu around 8 million or something like that. I
don't know about it. Hulu, ESPN Plus, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta find this article about. There we go. CNBC said this is off of. Hopefully, I'll have this link down below that. That Amazon could buy the WWE.
Yep. I did see that.
Or at least at the or lead to it after maybe.
Well, yeah, because
use Amazon to stream.
Well, yeah, because isn't there like CEO almost a trillionaire now? Or
Bezos, he's definitely a billionaire.
Okay, yeah, because I was talking to my coworker and he was telling me that he's pretty close to being a trillionaire, which I think that would make him one of the top most richest people in the world right there. But I mean I do feel like that eventually that the WWE is going to eventually sell, just because like with one example specifically, you recall when the Fertitta brothers sold the UFC. I want to say this was back in 2016 or 2017. They sold to WME for like $4.2 billion, and I gotta think now with the WWE, they probably are like worth are probably around that, you would think. So I do wonder if that their
stock price after it fell and everybody freaked the hell out.
Yeah, like
it is market cap under $4 billion.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So basically, right around what WME bought the UFC for. So it's definitely a conversation to have just based off of things that have happened. But so we're going to be hearing more and more about this as the year continues.
And Vince said stuff can change as early as this quarter, this first quarter in 2020. That's how far along I think everything is. So it's going to be interesting to see, even if you say it's on ESPN Plus, and it, maybe you don't pay the full $60. That's, I don't know, just $40. I don't know. Because I highly doubt that just the big four, like Armenia, would just be on regular TV on a Fox.
I think
it would never.
I don't think that would happen. I think it would go to either a like ESPN Plus, a
Amazon,
a zone where they have Bellator and boxing and other shows on there.
I'd rather not, because I don't want to pay
for McAfee's show is also on there
because I don't want to pay for another thing, another service.
Yeah,
because I already have. Well, I don't pay for Netflix, but let's say Netflix. I got Hulu, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, ESPN Plus. Even though it's in a bundle.
Yeah. Well, I think though, like if they do this, I feel like that they would probably only have their big shows on other platforms, but like for shows like say like Money in a Bank, TLC, Elimination Chamber, I think that they would probably still have those shows on the network, or that's what they should do. I feel I mean, because you need to give your fans an incentive to stay subscribed to the network. Because if this is going elsewhere, essentially the WWE network is now would be what the UFC Fight Pass is, which is basically a dead streaming service. So I mean,
I don't know.
Yeah,
it's gonna be interesting to see the lease coming up.
Yep.
That's as always. Finish up the main topics with AEW and NXT ratings for this week. AEW won again with 928,000 viewers. I believe that was up from last week or down, or whatever.
Yeah, like
slightly down.
I think they only did was like 840 something or 850 something last week. Regardless,
and then NXT did 770,000. And the demographics 0.36 for 18 to 49 for AEW and 0.22 for NXT, which overall is par for the course from the last couple weeks.
Yeah, I mean, like it feels like that outside of the total viewership from the 18 to 49 demo, it's basically staying around the same.
Yeah.
Typically, AEW is typically either a 0.36, a 0.37.
Usually 0.3.
Yeah. So and NXT stays in the 0.2s. It's still an issue though for NXT. They keep on getting beaten by Dynamite in every demo except for old people. Still continues to be an issue. And
I wonder.
Yeah.
I don't have the numbers, and I didn't look the numbers up. How many people watch NXT on the network instead of if it's people who watch AEW and then one day and then the next day watch NXT?
I feel like a lot of people watch Dynamite and then DVR NXT. I definitely do that. Just because I feel like
I DVR both because I can't really.
Yeah.
As of now, can't watch both live.
Yeah. Like I stick with one show and I'll typically DVR the other, which it's typically I will watch Dynamite live. But
do these include DVR, like overnight DVR numbers?
I'm not sure. I got this like straight off of Meltzer's or off of Alvarez's Twitter feed, but basically as we were saying, they were are around the same numbers. Just nothing else to really talk about. No. Although NXT had a pretty good bump. I would imagine a good portion of that was because of Charlotte being on the show, even though she didn't really exactly do anything on the show, but we'll get to that shortly.
Okay.
So AEW Dynamite, Matt. I mean, and I will say, for both shows, they were both really good shows this week. I mean, I continue to enjoy Wednesday Night Wrestling. It's just like it. I mean, like you can have your own various opinions on it, but like they're consistently pretty good shows every single weekend. You can't always say that about the shows on like Mondays and Fridays, although the shows on like Mondays have gotten better recently. But
I thought AEW was all right.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think it was great. I thought it was all right. There was parts here during the show that I was just
and I would agree with that too. But
it's an average show.
Yep, let's go through this. So we open up the show with a recap video package from last week. With Jon Moxley and Jericho, and everything else going on, and this leads to the open.
Never mind. I read what you said. I missed it earlier today. I read what you said under SCU and at Best Friends.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay. So basically we got a match between John Moxley versus Ortiz. This one about 10 minutes or so. Pretty good match. Ortiz he's always been a pretty good worker. He's the crazy man of LAX. So
I hate the
Tiger Claw.
I hate
Tiger
it.
Claw.
Annoys me. And stop saying "We're the best" 5,000 times. Annoys the crap out of me.
The best.
Annoys
the
me.
best.
It annoys the hell out
He's
of me.
doing his job then. Okay.
Stop it.
So yeah. So Moxley wins here. And by the way, Jericho on commentary was just hilarious.
Best part.
Like just seeing him just going back and forth with Shivani just had me dying. But basically after the match, the Inner Circle come down, and Santana takes Alec Moxley. This eventually leads to with John Moxley injuring Santana's eye and
Stabs him with the car key.
Yep, an eye for an eye. And that was and that's been the whole theme with this with the eye and everything. Yeah.
I always love that, like, they're not actually. I can't buy they're actually stabbing somebody in the eye, but at the same time, we all like Undertaker for being dead, so I can't really complain.
Suspend your disbelief here, yeah.
And then my question here is, to preview of next week, it's Moxley and Santana, eye for an eye. What the hell does that mean? First person to poke somebody's eye out wins?
Right.
Is that what it is? I saw it, eye for an eye. I went, what is this? Nobody explained this. First person to make their opponent completely blind wins.
Well, like, I don't think that's what they meant. It's basically how they're how they're like marketing the match for the story, not the actual.
I would laugh if that is the case.
I will laugh really hard if that's the case as well.
Just for a month, Santana comes blindfolded.
Yeah. But yeah. So we're gonna have Santana versus Moxley with guys with patches over their eyes. It's gonna be hilarious. All right. So then we had SCU versus Best Friends. I'm not going to lie, I did not care about this match at all. Although my boy Orange Cassidy is still over as hell, even though someone across from me cannot respect him, but somehow he can like Santina or Santino Marella, which makes no sense to me.
Santina can wrestle.
And this guy can't?
No, he better lose in 2 seconds, even in the 3 count. I appreciate his comedy. No. I can be no fun for this one time, John. There's many examples of you hating fun, like Santina.
If that's all fun, that is an embarrassment to professional wrestling.
So is Orange Cassidy. So there you go. If you can hate Santina, I can hate Orange Cassidy.
Nope.
If
two completely different things. Nope.
Santina.
Sorry, you are wrong. Goodbye.
At least Santina won some accomplishment. Was Miss WrestleMania. What did Orange Cassidy do? Put his hands in his pockets?
Yeah, it's way more entertaining than a freaking cross dresser. All right.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
And a preview, RuPaul is hosting SNL tonight.
All right. So
stop hating people for expressing themselves.
Yeah. All right. So basically
cut this podcast short.
Yeah.
I have the power.
That's what she said. All right. SCU they get the win over Best Friends here. Then after the match, the Dark Order come down. These guys are not over at all, and I felt it was, and I really hope that this is not the case. If they have Christopher Daniels as the exalted one,
I didn't even think of that.
then like this group is dead. Like to me, you need Broken Matt Hardy to save this group. No, there is no other guy who's going to save this group, because these guys, they are not over. No one cares about what they're doing. Just, I pray that is not where they are going, but I have a really, really bad feeling about that. But yeah, so
Afraid I got some bad news.
yeah, I know. So then we get Britt Baker versus Yuka Sakazaki, not Yuka Sakazawa, as Jim Ross said. Oh my good grief. But this was a weirdly booked match.
It was not good. I don't know what this obsession is with Japanese wrestlers, but they're not on this show. It wasn't good. There was some stuff that was just good. Bad.
I mean, like, I'm interested in Britt's character, but like, why is she losing here? This makes no sense. Now, I will say, and Matt, if you haven't figured out yet, she's a dentist.
She is.
I will say it was a really good visual with her stomping Yuka's face on bottom rope, and like her teeth were showing. That
best part of that segment. Exactly. That saved that segment.
Yes.
I enjoyed it.
And I
tied in the dentist. It was, to me, it was right. Good.
So that was good, but like, it just, there is no direction with this division, and we're gonna get into,
the only direction is Britt Baker.
I know, and we're gonna get into Riho shortly here. So then we had a 8-man tag between Bed Bath and Beyond, Butcher and Blade, and the Lucha Brothers versus the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega and Adam Hangman Page. And damn it, I am becoming more and more of a fan of Adam Hangman Page every single week. I love this alcoholic persona of him. Like just, he's so over with the crowd now. Like, and it's just growing every single week. And I loved, like, when he came out first and wanted to be as far away from the elite as possible. I feel like that they're just building up the tension just perfectly with this year. I'm really behind this. Matt, what are your thoughts?
I don't like the Elite's theme song.
Oh yeah. It's terrible. Like, it's way too cheesy. It's
like, no. I was like, what?
Yeah.
What is what?
Yeah.
But I did like him coming out first and just like, screw this, and walking down.
And also too, what I also liked, if you saw him on the outside, he was as far away from the Bucks as possible, and he would only tag in Kenny. He would not tag in the Bucks, which was essentially what the whole story was around this. Was basically with Hangman, he wants all of the credit. He wants all of that spotlight, and in this case, it cost him the match here. So I wasn't really pissed that he lost here, because there was a bigger story behind this. But this did lead to, I believe Pentagon Jr. pinned him, Hangman, if I recall correctly. So
I can't remember.
Yeah, so it looks like we're probably going to be getting a tag title match with those guys at some point, because I believe
it's SCU and then
SCU. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I could tell
next week, I think.
I could tell you one thing though, Matt. Taking those tag titles off of SCU was the absolute right decision to go, because now there is way more importance now with those titles, because it's with the elite, and that's where it should have been from the start. Because now people are going to care about the tag titles. And no offense to Frankie Kazarian and Scorpio Sky, but just like, no one cared for them as tag champs, and it's a much more better division now with Hangman and Kenny as champions.
And this is the part of the show which, as I'm watching this laying in bed, I had a snow day and I was all tired that I think I fell asleep for it, and then I woke up and not knowing that I missed anything. As I'm reading here, I'm like, oh, I totally missed these next two things.
Yeah. So basically, Kenny, he was going to be interviewed by Tony Schiavone after the match, but then Pac gets on the Titantron and is basically confronting Riho, or like kidnapping her. And apparently Riho was being held by a freaking invisible man, because at any point she could have ran away and not just stare at Pac for no apparent reason whatsoever. So basically Pac said, if you're not going to care to accept my challenge, then like he was basically holding her hostage, and eventually Kenny caved, and he said, okay, fine, I will give you your match. And I'm looking at this, I'm like, wow, they made Riho look extremely stupid, because then Pac says, oh, he was like, oh, you didn't really think that I was going to put my hands on her. He was like, I am a bastard. But this eventually leads to when Nyla Rose comes and attacks her from behind and then power bombs her and through the table, and the table didn't even break
because she weighs
80 pounds,
soaking wet.
Yes. So how I would have done this, Nyla Rose hold her and threaten, and then Pac do the threatening, because then, okay, that makes way more sense. And then you powerbomb her, like, okay, that could have worked out, but no, a freaking invisible man was holding Riho, apparently. And I'm just like,
okay, is it me?
And by the way, it was announced for next week Riho would be defending her title against Nyla.
Better lose.
I can only hope.
If she doesn't lose, holy
God help us all.
Is it me? And maybe I can't remember stuff. But is this like a mega pack like build, just random?
It's been on the back burner. Like they've hinted at it, but they've never.
It's never been on.
It's like a side feud, because if you recall, AEW has done this with guys like Cody when he would be in a full feud with MJF, and then on the side he would feud with either with Bed Bath and Beyond.
That has something to do with MGF, right? But it just feel like it just is like rant, like the stuff during the commercials with like Pac attacking the translator Japanese guy.
Yeah.
But like nothing leads to it, and it's like it's more worried. They're more worried about Kenny and Hangman Page and the elite stuff. Like this thing's here, and then like it's like, oh, that's right, Pac's still a thing.
Yeah.
It to me, it's not a lot's on TV minus what you just said now,
right,
and the video package, that eerie thing last week.
Right.
Like at time I forget this is a thing. It's just like, to me, why should I care about this match when I barely, like, it's just hinted at. It's like, oh, by the way, look over here, we have this feud that to me, my opinion, is just built inconsistent.
Yeah, and
I care more about Kenny Omega and Hangman Page than I do about. I honest to God, and please inform me why they're feuding.
Basically because Kenny beat Pac was like about a month or so ago, and basically Pac has been obsessed with this rematch, but it's been really inconsistent. And now
I forgot.
And now these two are going to be having a 30 minute Iron Man match in 3 weeks, which is a go home show to AEW Revolution. So I'm very interested to see how that thing is going to be booked there.
It's like Riho.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's champion, but nobody knows. She's never on TV.
Yep.
At least
they need to get that towel.
At least with like, I don't know, Rhea Ripley on NXT, like she's there in some form or fashion.
Yep.
Not if she's not wrestling, there's a video package or she's making a promo.
Yep. With
Riho, she'll have a random match and we don't see from her again until she randomly fights again.
Yep. So now we got a Darby Allin video package, which this was pretty cool here. He uses a freaking flamethrower, and,
of course,
and burns cardboard cutouts of both Sammy Guevara and Chris Jericho. And I would have to assume that this probably is leading into a match with Darby Allin versus Sammy Guevara, which that should be a pretty fun match. I would like to see Darby get some more wins here, so hopefully this is the start of that. Because he is pretty over with the crowd, and I'm hoping that does continue there. All right, so then we had the most pointless match segment whatever of the show. Kip Sabian versus Jelly Janela, and the only thing that was good about this thing was seeing Penelope Ford on the outside, because she was the only person who really mattered in this match. This was boring, and the crowd was dead. No one cared. Kip Sabian wins, and yeah, that's it. Jelly Janela sucks.
Can I ask? Did we just stop his feud with Sean Spears?
Yep.
Did he kidnap
Tully Blanchard?
What happened?
Basically,
is he still in the chair somewhere tied up?
Nope. He's been on. I think he was on AEW Dark this week, actually.
Oh.
Yep.
So we just
pretend like
forgot it never happened.
Yep. Which I'm perfectly fine with.
Yeah, but I'm just like.
Yeah. So then
why?
Yeah. Yawn. So then we had an Inner Circle interview. Basically, this was the aftermath from when John Moxley stabbed Santana. Santana cut a little promo, and basically he said that it hasn't been any secret that this month has been a pretty tough month for him. Which
past 7 days.
Which I didn't know why he said that, but then I did some research and found out that his father died, I believe, a few weeks ago. And
I didn't know.
And that was what he was talking about. So
okay, makes sense.
Yeah. So
my bad.
So I was like, okay, I kind of wish that I would have known that, but basically, yeah. So this is building up to Santana versus Moxley for next week, which I'm really excited for. So that should be a pretty good match. Then we had a dark order miniad. It was like about 15 seconds long. Nothing too special.
I think I somehow passed out for this.
Yeah. So then we had a backstage segment with Hangman, and this was pretty funny.
I have questions.
The Bucks. So basically, the Bucks, are pretty mad at Hangman for not just tagging in. For some reason, this kind of reminded me of like an Owen Hart and Bret Hart from the '94 Rumble match. I believe it was when basically Bret just refused to tag in Owen and Owen saying, Brett, all you had to do was just tag in, and we would have won. So that was the whole story behind this. And basically, the Bucks said, this is why things are the way that they are. So they are a-holes and steal Hangman's beer. So then freaking Hangman has a freaking pitcher.
Where did it come from? My question is, where did it come from?
I don't know.
They had the zoom out thing, right? You saw the whole body. He's holding the beer. There's no pitcher. They zoom in, and all of a sudden, he just pulls up out of thin air. He's a magician.
He's magic.
He's magic. Where did this pitcher of beer come from?
I don't know, but it was funny. So
what's happening in his life that he has to drink so much? These are the questions I need answers to.
He likes beer.
I like beer, but I don't pull pictures out of my...
He really likes beer.
He's a drunk. Kids, don't drink and drive.
Yeah. All right.
You poo-poo that.
All right, so then we get to the most important thing of the night here, Matt, which was the 10 lashings for MJF onto Cody. Needless to say, this was amazing. Although I do feel that with Cody, he definitely oversold this a little bit. But I still really liked it. Though.
I
still really.
Let me gather my thought before I go. I think the selling was okay. I mean,
every single shot mattered, and that's what.
It got worse before number 10. So
yeah, which was good. And the crowd was just eating this up. And after this, if you didn't want to kick MJF's ass, and if you didn't Yeah,
at the end.
Suppose when he ran up the steps, a fan just tried going after MJF, and all you saw was
he kicked the crap out of him.
It was Wardlow just throw.
Don't mess with wrestlers that can actually fight.
Yeah. So that was really funny, but they were so basically once this whole thing was going on, they would I believe it was Arn Anderson came down after a few, and then Dustin came down, and Dustin actually tried to take Cody's place, but MJF said hell no, that is not part of the deal. And you could just see MJF just getting more and more frustrated that Cody wasn't quitting. So because he was absolutely believing that he was not going to get through this. Matt, you need to get a better mic stand, buddy.
Shut up. Yours is fine. I don't know why mine's acting up. I'm trying to get this right so it's not falling off.
It's about to fall off. But so this thing lived up to the build. And the next or the last part of the stipulations before the MJF and Cody match is Cody has to take on Wardlow in 2 weeks inside of a steel cage in Atlanta, Georgia. So I'm really excited for that there. And the show goes off the air with a fan trying to attack MJF, and that's how it goes off the air. Matt, what were your thoughts about this segment? And
I appreciate it. I like how Arn came out, and Dustin came out, the Young Bucks came out, and at the end when Brandy came out, and the non I hate you Brandy came out,
and I think this confirms that the Nightmare Collective is essentially dead. I think this was probably if you saw Dark this week, they wrote off Kong because I believe she is filming for the next season of Glow. So I'm hoping that's why I'm hoping that this is just the end the end of that. But yeah, it was a very emotional segment. It did everything possible to get you excited for this match. So basically, it was a solid show for Dynamite this week. Between Jericho and Moxley, between Cody and MJF, and with the Adam Hangman Page storyline with the Elite. Those are three really strong storylines. So even though there are some other things that really need some work, that women's division and that undercard, like, this is definitely masking some of the other issues with the show. But yeah, so Matt, anything more to add there?
No.
All right, so let's get into some NXT, Matt. So a very solid episode of NXT. The show kicks off with a recap from last week's show and all of the matches going into NXT TakeOver Portland, which is a week from Sunday. And I was an idiot for thinking, oh, it's actually this Sunday. No, so. But we opened the show with the pros and weights coming out on a golf cart.
I love this team so much.
I never knew I wanted a team like this so bad until now. Like Riddle and Pete Dunne just feed off of each other perfectly. Pete the overly serious guy, Riddle being an absolute goofball. Pete Dunne making every sort of like, you know, weed saying or suggestion or whatever. It's just hilarious. And them celebrating, and then with the Undisputed Era coming down, and
Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly.
Oh, and then like Riddle doing a freaking tongue twister with Fish.
I would have preferred, because fish can be used as a verb.
Yes.
I would have preferred if it was, how many fish can Bobby Fish fish if Bobby Fish could fish, instead of how many fish can Bobby Fish fry if Bobby Fish could fry fish. I just messed it up. I don't like the fry. It kind of like ruins it.
Yeah.
I like if it was, how much fish could Bobby Fish fish if Bobby Fish could fish. I would prefer that. That's me. But regardless.
Yeah, this was really.
And I chuckled when Pete Dunne said the line, and Matt Riddle was like, "Yep, he said it. It's official now."
Yep. and then to close the segment,
I heard
Pete Dunne said they're going to totally smoke these guys.
No, I love when Bobby Fish starts use the word fish,
mm-hmm.
and Matt Riddle said, Bobby Fish said fish. That's funny. And they're doing the hill thing. They're yelling. I forget. I think it was Fish. Bobby Fish said, "That's my last name."
Oh,
but it's kind of right. He said something when he was talking.
Yeah, I forget what, but
it was.
But
it was cheesy, but it was cheesy that I'm okay with. Yeah. It was funny.
All right, so then we had a match between Angel Garza versus Isaiah Swerve Scott, which was a very, very, very good match.
Yes.
Is it weird, or is Angel Garza's finisher kind of weird?
In what way?
Just like how it had never seen it before, and it just seemed.
I kind of like it.
Yeah, it was weird to me. I was like, okay.
The fish, I forget what they call it. They have his hands.
Yeah.
And they're curled up almost in the ball, and it slammed down. It's unique. I like it.
Yeah, it just that was like, oh, okay. But then after the match, Angel Garza he gets on a microphone, and basically he talks about how he paid up his cousin Humberto. He beat up Scott, and he also beat up Ray on like Monday Night Raw. And basically, he wants a shot against Jordan Devlin for the cruiserweight
saying
title.
that he never lost it. He never got pinned.
Yep. He never got pinned. So yeah, and that he would keep an eye out for him. So this then we get a backstage segment with the Undisputed Era just basically beating up everybody backstage to find Ciampa. So that was going on, which they had a few more of these. Oh yeah, and Roddy being a freaking decided to, I'm going to freaking buzz cut this one dude.
My question is, why is somebody getting a haircut back there?
Yeah, that was also kind of weird too. But then we had a Mercedes Martinez video package, which she had a match later on in the night. Then we got a match between Dominic Dijakovic versus Killian Dane. This was a pretty good match. Dijakovic, he wins in about 8 or 10 minutes. And they made his match against Keith Lee for the North American Championship official for NXT TakeOver Portland, which, if they're anything like their past matches, this should be sensational.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, another solid match between these two. I mean, you can't go wrong with Killian Dane.
No.
Very athletic big boy.
Mm-hmm.
Very enjoyable, and just solidified Dijakovic as the number one contender to Keith Lee's North American Championship.
Yep.
And right call, because those two put on great matches.
Yeah, absolutely. Then we get another backstage segment with the Undisputed Era, and they throw Kushida in a trash can.
My question is, why is there an NXT foam thing over the trash can?
I don't know, but man, what are they doing with Kushida? Do they have nothing for him? This really did irk me because he was a really big name over on New Japan, and man, just it kind of made me sad to see that. But then we get on to the interview between Johnny Gargano and Finn Balor. This was really good, Matt. A really good banter going back and forth. So basically, Finn was saying he was sick and tired of hearing about Johnny wrestling. Johnny really made fun of his horrible Raw and SmackDown booking, telling him, hey, I don't want to face the guy who lost 17 straight weeks in a row to Bobby Lashley. I was like, oh wow. And then he also says and Johnny says, Finn, you need this match as much as I do. And he said, I want to face the guy who was the longest reigning NXT champion, and basically Finn needs to bring his A game, and that basically and then after that, Finn said that he doesn't want to have a match of the year, and Finn apparently doesn't have a.
What he wanted? Johnny said he was gonna. What was he gonna put through Finn's heart? Was it the flag of NXT, flag bearer?
Yeah.
And then Johnny got up, walked away, and Finn was just still there. So Johnny's not there, and Finn just goes, I don't have a heart. And I was like, that was so good.
Yep. So yeah, I mean that's, man, every single match on that card is just gonna be incredible. So then we have Mercedes Martinez versus Casey Catanzaro, or as I call her, Mrs. Ricochet. This was solid. This was basically Bill building up Mercedes Martinez. Yep.
Did its job. I mean,
Yep.
it is what it is.
Yep.
It's special.
Yep. Nothing special. And then we had the last of the Undisputed Era's backstage antics, but this time Ciampa surprises him and just beats the hell out of everybody. Eventually, this gets thrown back to ringside, where Ciampa is trying to send Adam Cole through the announce table, but eventually the Undisputed Era catch up to him. This eventually gets back in the ring, where the Broserweights come down, and it's just a huge brawl everywhere. NXT has the worst security I've ever seen because my God, this was just horrendous. But basically,
pro wrestling always has the worst security.
Yeah, absolutely. And then William Regal comes out. He's sick and tired of seeing all of the chaos, so he sanctions a match between the Undisputed Era versus Ciampa and the Broserweights. So that was set up for the main event later in the night. Then we had Jordan Devlin versus Tyler Breeze, which was, in my opinion, the match of the night. I continue to be impressed with the Irish Ace, Jordan Devlin. He's had some really good matches on NXT UK. He had a really good cruiserweight match at like Worlds Collide, where he won the cruiserweight title. And man, like, if you needed to be reminded how good of a pro wrestler that Tyler Breeze is, like, it just shows you just how underused that he is. So yeah, a really good match. Jordan Devlin, he wins. I would imagine that they probably are going to be doing Devlin versus Angel Garza on a future episode of NXT. Mm-hmm. So I cannot wait for that. Any thoughts on the match, Matt?
I think I passed out again for part of this match. Laying down, I was in and out for I would, my day to day, because I had no school and anything. I was just, if I'm laying down, I don't know. Anywho, but I saw most of it. Mm-hmm. It was good. I mean, I like Tyler Breeze. He's very underrated as a performer. I wish they gave him more of a singles run, of something. Jordan Devlin, I never really saw him until Worlds Collide. He's impressed me. He's a good wrestler, and from what
he was trained by like Finn Balor too.
That's right. So from what I remember of this match, very good.
Yep. Then we get the whole confrontation between Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair. However, instead of Rhea coming out after Bianca did, the Queen Charlotte Flair comes out to what many thought was her announcing that she accepted Rhea's challenge for WrestleMania. Charlotte really puts over how great of an athlete that Bianca is, but you know, and so on. And like, Bianca wasn't happy that basically she felt disrespected because essentially Rhea was overlooking her. So I feel like for this whole entire segment, Matt, Bianca came off really well here. She like held her own against Charlotte. Eventually Rhea comes down, and there was some banter back and forth. Bianca asks, Charlotte, why are you here when you don't even work here?
Like, you're here, but what's the line? But yeah, but anyways, yeah, you're right.
So then
I liked. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I liked Charlotte's line of go back and braid your hair.
Yeah.
Go over there and braid your hair.
And basically, she kept just on disrespecting Bianca and the other women, and basically that is what set off Rhea. She was like, yeah, Charlotte, I did not disrespect your roster here. So even though even though Bianca and I are going to beat the hell out of each other, we have a saying here: we are NXT, and they take out Charlotte, and like it's like you could just feel like that even though in NXT a lot of people have their differences, they're still on that NXT team, and that's the one thing that was really that I took from that. I was kind of surprised that they didn't really give an actual answer for Charlotte. So this, I mean, to a certain point, it felt like kind of a waste of time, and was just I feel like just trying to give a reason to combat against AEW, honestly. But I'm guessing that we'll probably get more of an answer after TakeOver, as far as this feud is concerned.
Yeah, it's almost like Charlotte's like, do I want to waste my time wrestling you because I'm so much better than you?
You're right.
But I think the answer is like you said, going to be after TakeOver, because you have to, because technically it could be Bianca. Like, if this was legit, like technically it could be any of them.
Obviously, but that's clearly is not going to happen here.
There's going to be a point probably with Charlotte just got attacked that it's like, you know what? Okay, now it's definitely going to be you. I wouldn't be surprised if after this match, Charlotte appears and attacks Rhea.
I wouldn't be surprised if that even happens next week. So I would not be shocked at all. So then we get to the main event between the Undisputed Era versus Ciampa and the Broserweights. Pretty good 6-man. I was kind of surprised this was what they used to combat the Cody and MJF.
I'm not, because those your stars.
Yeah. But anyways, this I believe ends in a DQ.
I believe so.
A huge brawl ensues. The Undisputed Era just keep on beating up on Ciampa and the Broserweights. Eventually, the lights go out, and Matt's favorite wrestler, the Velveteen Dream, appears. Yes, he was the man, and we predicted as much. That basically
I did say Velveteen Dream. Yes.
Yeah, those were in fact his symbol, and more specifically, he was going after after Roderick Strong, and if you saw his tights, he had airbrushed Roddy's wife on his pants there, so that was pretty funny. So the show goes off the air with Velveteen Dream standing tall, and what was a very good episode of NXT. Next week is the go home show to NXT TakeOver Portland. Yep, it should be good. Just like I said, 2 very very good episodes for both Dynamite and NXT. So yep, and I believe, Matt, it's that time of the podcast where we get to the funny moment of the week, and I will shut up here.
This is not so much a funny story, but I found this and I thought it was interesting that the most profound shower thoughts on Reddit this week. And you ever take a shower, or bath, what have you, and you just think of like random stuff, and you're like, oh, my mind blown. Or do you not think at all, John?
No, it's best some thinking time.
It is the best. Yeah. Your imagination goes. So I'm going to read a couple of these. If you want to chime in, because I read some of these, but not all of them. So near the end, it's going to be new to me. First one here. Maybe superheroes wear capes to hide the zipper on the back of their onesies.
Oh, God.
Possible. If humans naturally had horns, we'd probably have to shave them down to a socially acceptable length. You have that look, but really, it kind of makes sense. I mean, like, look at hair in the 80s, big and wild. You don't see that now. Trends. I mean, you don't want big horns. You need little horns. You don't poke somebody in the eye. Noah must have really trusted those two termites that were on the ark. If he transported two of every animal, and they built it out of wood, there you go. You share a birthday with millions of animals. You probably met some of them without knowing. There's a chance you've eaten a birthday buddy. That is true. I never thought about that. There's some animals that probably was born when you were born, or on the same day.
Yeah.
We just walk over them. Teachers are the most famous non-famous people you know. Think about it. If you've been teaching for 10 years, there's a high chance that thousands of people will know you. And it's true. I mean, everybody talks about like teachers you grew up. Remember Mr. and Mrs. blah, blah, blah? And like everyone's like, yeah. And it's true. Most famous that is, I agree with that. Being 5 minutes early to an appointment doesn't feel that early. Being 5 minutes late feels really late. Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah, that's true. 5 minutes late, it's like, oh my God, I'm gonna miss an appointment. I have to reschedule. But 5 minutes early, you wait forever
and ever.
At some point in time, dogs could have been taught to retrieve firewood, and we wouldn't know. But that's why some dogs are obsessed with collecting and playing with sticks.
So, wood.
Yes.
Kevin Dunn's favorite breakfast, lunch, and dinner there.
Dropping a cup of coffee usually wakes you up more than drinking it.
Depends on who you talk to, I guess.
Well, drop something in the house when you're only one and you drop it. Everybody's going to wake up and go, what was that? Especially in my house. It's true. Maybe we associate tall people with a sense of authority because when we're kids, all the authorities are much taller than we are.
Respect my authority.
Yes. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, when you're little, everything seems bigger. So it's like, oh, big people. Which you can't see here, so I'm trying to hold in the laugh. Because I feel like he wants to say that's what she said.
Nope.
Okay, well. When chicken nuggets are shaped like dinosaurs, they're just in the shape of their ancestors.
Aw.
If you gave $20 to someone and never got it back, you basically paid $20 to learn a valuable lesson.
If you say so.
I didn't say this. JLock77 said.
Okay, whatever.
Well, you learn 20. People open up your brain.
Brain shut down.
Yeah. Well, at least you said it. Pets can understand your vocal commands much better than you can understand theirs.
Yep.
Yeah, that's not even. Yeah. When playing Truth or Dare, kids are afraid of the dares, while adults are afraid of the truths.
Absolutely.
Deep. We're getting deep in the shower thoughts here. 3:03 a.m. March 3rd, 2022 would be the third second of the third minute of the third hour of the third day of the third month of the third year of the third decade of the third millennium on the third planet.
The seventh son of the seventh son.
Oh, that movie. You are the seventh son of the seventh son. So 14th generation?
Yes.
The oceans are only water-filled valleys that we are all living. Wait, the oceans are only water-filled valleys, and we are all living in the mountains.
Ha ha.
Quality content opinions from John over here. Hospitals are the only place that have an emergency entrance and emergency exits.
Yeah.
You never hear Shaq O'Neal. It's either Shaquille O'Neal or Shaq, but never Shaq O'Neal.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's true. Having a lot of old cars on your property is classy if you're rich, but trashy if you're poor.
Yep.
That's how society is.
Yes.
Jay Leno, I'm talking to you. Bic creates two of the most stolen items, the lighter and the pen, a strategy that works in their favor. If you lose them, what are you going to do? Buy another one.
I guess so.
And more money. Vanilla is universally associated with plain, despite being its own unique flavor.
Or when someone's trying to bury someone in wrestling, call them, oh, they're just vanilla midgets.
You have to say vanilla. So plain.
Yes.
So you agree. Thank you, Super Brian 111.
Dun, dun, dun.
Saying you're one in a million is taken as a compliment about how unique someone is, but saying you're 1 in 7.53 billion points out how insignificant someone is in the grand scheme of things.
I mean, if we're being technical about it.
We are.
Dun, dun, dun.
It is true. You're 1 in a million, but times it by 10, you're insignificant. I wish you could see him. He's disrespecting the South. He's not thinking. No, shut up.
Yeah.
If you all made the first 90% of the...
That sucks.
Way to bury it.
Freshly squeezed.
Way to bury your own segment. If we all made the first 90% of the toothpaste tube last as long as we do the last 10, we can collapse the toothpaste industry inside a month. That is true. That is true. I mean, we protect that. We're lazy. We don't open another one. Technically, I have never lost a fight with a tiger.
Ha.
If life is a game, gravestones are participation trophies. That's a good one. If every purchase... I'm not going to wrap it. He's showing the... No, let me have this one. This is good. If every purchase you made was measured in hours, you worked inside of price, you'd be less of a consumer. What? Procrastinating is easier done than said.
Oh.
My mind just blown. 4 a.m. is extremely late, but 5 a.m. is extremely early. That is true. You wake up 5 a.m. So I woke up at 5 a.m. for work. That's people go, oh, that's early. But if I stayed up to 4 a.m. That's extremely late. Go ahead and say something because you know you want. I know you want to say something. Shut up. We're almost done. Shut the hell up. Many of us are probably still tagged from games of... Many of us probably still tagged from games of tag we used to play on the playground as kids. I wish we had a camera on John. We eat pizza from the center outwards.
Like a damn psychopath.
Yes. And last but not least, the 22nd of February 2022, so that's 22222 is on a Tuesday, making it the 22nd of February 2022, so 22222 is on a Tuesday, making it a Tuesday.
It's so dumb, but it's so hilarious.
I didn't read like these like 60% of these. And so I just read this last time. I was like,
The seventh son of this.
can I read the comments on this or anything?
No, we've gone far enough with this segment here. So, we would like to thank you guys for watching this week's podcast. As you well know, and you guys should know this by now, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell for when new videos come out every single Saturday. We drop our podcast every Saturday, typically at 3 p.m.
Can I read one more I found?
Okay, one more, and that's it.
Dog toys live a horrifying life in the Toy Story universe.
And on that note, for John, for Matt, we shall see you guys next week. Sayonara.